For so many people around the world, Canada is more than just a country. It's this beacon of hope, right? A safe place away from war and persecution. But what's the journey to safety actually like once you get here? Let's peel back the layers and really dig into the complex reality of Canada's refugee system. This quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the core challenge. The promise of safety. It's absolutely real. But it's also tangled up in this web of legal hurdles and financial struggles. That's the central tension we're going to explore today. Okay, so the first thing you have to grasp is that there really is no single refugee experience. Everything that happens next, your rights, your finances, your legal status, it all comes down to one critical factor: how you arrive in Canada. And here are those two paths. You can think of them as two parallel universes. On one side, you've got the resettlement program. You're selected while you're still abroad, often by the UN, and you land in Canada with permanent resident status from day one. But on the other side, there's the In-Canada Asylum program. This is where you arrive in Canada first, and then you start the long, tough process of proving your case. You're not a resident, you're a claimant, and you're living in this state of total uncertainty until a decision is made. So, once you're in Canada, the next huge decision is where to actually live. And believe me, this is way more than just picking a city you like the sound of. It's a strategic move that can literally make or break your financial survival and your future. So let's see how the different options really stack up. Let's start with the big one, Toronto and Southern Ontario. It's a massive magnet for newcomers, and you can see why. Diverse communities, tons of job opportunities. But, and this is a huge but, the cost of living is just staggering. Your government shelter allowance won't even cover half the average rent. It pretty much forces most people into shared housing situations right off the bat. Okay, now let's head over to Montreal. It's a city with a completely different set of rules. It's a historic, safe haven with great job prospects and a cost of living that's way more manageable. But there's a non-negotiable entry ticket: you must learn French. It's so important that the government will even pay you to take French courses to help you get settled.
And this brings us to Alberta, which is becoming a top choice for a lot of people. Why? Well, it's a really powerful combination. You've got stable jobs in key industries and a cost of living that's just, well, it's far more forgiving. For anyone who's really focused on financial independence, Alberta offers a clear path to getting on your feet.
And finally, let's look at Atlantic Canada, which offers yet another kind of balance. Over here, you're going to find these incredibly welcoming communities and affordable housing. In fact, it's one of the few places where a family might actually be able to afford their own apartment. So what's the trade-off? The job market can be a bit less predictable, with a lot of the work being seasonal. We've been talking a lot about the cost of living, but let's get into the hard numbers. For many refugees, that entire first year is defined by a single government program and the daily struggle to make those numbers work. That program is called the Resettlement Assistance Program, or RAP for short. It gives you income support for up to 1 year. But here is the critical detail. The amount you get is based on provincial social assistance rates, not the actual cost of living in a specific city. And that disconnect, well, that's what creates a huge financial challenge. I mean, just look at this gap column. It tells the whole story. In Toronto, you're starting the month $100 in the hole on rent alone. In Vancouver, it's even worse. But then you look at Calgary and Montreal, where the allowance actually covers the average rent for a room. That gives you some crucial breathing space. This really hammers home just how critical that choice of city is. And if the table wasn't clear enough, this bar chart just screams it at you. Those deficits in Toronto and Vancouver mean you're immediately relying on food banks and desperately looking for work. That little surplus in Calgary, on the other hand, shows exactly why it's considered the best financial balance. It gives newcomers a real shot at stability in that critical first year. All right, so for those on the asylum track, finding a place to live is really just the beginning. Next up is a massive hurdle: the formal legal process to prove their claim. This is an incredibly high-stakes journey where every single little detail matters. The whole process basically breaks down into 3 main phases. First, you've got the initial claim. Second, there's a long waiting period that's packed with critical tasks. And finally, you have the hearing before the Immigration and Refugee Board. That's the moment where a life-altering decision gets made. Now, this waiting period is not a time to sit around. It's a race against the clock. A lawyer is absolutely essential. Your chances of success are so much higher with legal help. You need a medical exam to get health coverage, and a work permit is crucial to start earning money. And that basis of claim form,
People will tell you it's the most important document in your life because any little mistake can put your entire future at risk.
So when you pull it all together, the entire experience for a refugee claimant in Canada really comes down to navigating two massive systemic hurdles. The first hurdle is the sheer amount of time you have to wait. We're talking 12 to 24 months. Just think about that for a second. That's up to 2 years of your life spent in limbo, with your entire future hanging in the balance, all waiting for a single one-day hearing. The psychological stress is just immense. So how on earth do people get through this? Well, they adapt. They get resourceful. To bridge that RAP gap we talked about, they rely on food banks and shared housing. To get through that long wait, they don't put their lives on hold. They work, they learn the language, they build new communities. The goal is always, always the same. Get off government support and onto your own 2 feet as fast as you possibly can. Which brings us right back to where we started. Canada offers the priceless gift of safety. But as we've seen, safety is really just the starting point. The real journey requires this incredible resilience to overcome financial hardship, legal complexity, and just profound uncertainty. And it leaves us with a really important question. What does it truly take, not just to survive, but to actually build a new life?